All right, this is a bonus and one. This is my take that I couldn't get to in my episode with Michael Shearer. We talked about Jason Tatum and how that was the best thing to have happened in terms of his Achilles injury to the Boston Celtics. We talked a little bit more about Pascal Siakam's All-Star candidacy and how the Timberwolves can make it back to the Western Conference Finals in our episode of Good Take. Because Mike won the last time we did it, our Good Take game, he was able to share his second take. This was my final take that I couldn't get to in that one, but I'm going to get to it here. LeBron James should waive his no trade clause and go to the Eastern Conference and specifically reunite with the Miami Heat. It's not working with the Lakers. It's Luka's team. They're going in a new direction. That team won a bunch of games at the start of the year. They have not been good, and they are not good enough this year to really compete for something meaningful. At best, I think this Lakers team is a first-round playoff team, probably a first-round out, maybe can push a team, but the West is so stacked at the top that like they're not beating OKC, Denver. They're not going to beat Minnesota. We saw that last year. It's a bad matchup for them. They probably aren't beating Houston, right? Like this is kind of going nowhere for the Lakers this season. And if everybody's being really honest, despite the presence of LeBron James on that roster, this is a gap year. This is a rebuild. This is first offseason after trading for Luka Doncic in the middle of last season. We're trying to rebuild this team around Luka. It's Luka's team, and they're going in a new direction, and that has been clear by the moves that they've made, by getting a little bit younger here, and they're just going to keep adding to a Luka roster, not a LeBron roster. And so I don't know what LeBron James is playing for right now with the Lakers. And if the Lakers are going to move on, I think LeBron should get ahead of it. They didn't extend him this past summer. We saw the statement from Rich Paul, from LeBron James, all this stuff, everything that they were saying, acknowledging, hey, it's been real. I guess it's Luka's team now. We'll see what happens. And then that just goes away at the start of the season. I don't think that just goes away. I still think that those feelings are there. I think LeBron sees that this team is Luka's team. And I think he sees now more than ever that they just don't got it this year to compete for anything. And LeBron has this year, maybe next year left in his career, and that's it. Like, if I'm LeBron, if the Lakers are going to move on, I'm trying to get ahead of this. Not just for the narrative part of it, but also the fact that LeBron's still a top 25 guy in the NBA. He's capable on any given night of being a top 10 guy. There's still gas in the tank, in other words. This guy could still help the right team. I just don't think the Lakers are that team. Him and Luka defensively are a mess. They still haven't figured out who's going to get the ball, how they're going to share the ball. Austin Reeves is coming back. They've been really good with Austin Reeves, but again, not good enough to the point where if I'm LeBron, it's changing my mind about what this team can do, and nor should it. But LeBron is still really good. And I think on the right team, in the right situation, with the right pieces around him, he could still move the needle in a major way that could impact this season. To me, LeBron is in his Tom Brady and Tampa era. Tom Brady in Tampa was not the player that he was with the New England Patriots. He wasn't hitting those MVP type of levels. He wasn't putting up those kinds of numbers, but he was the exact quarterback that that team needed because it had weapons and it had defense and it had coaching. And that team went ahead and won the Super Bowl. I'm not going to sit here and say that LeBron, depending on what he does, could go win another championship, but maybe, right? Like, who knows? The NBA is crazy. And if he finds himself in the right situation, why not? So can LeBron go quarterback a team that already has everything else in place? Because the idea of LeBron sliding into a role player type of role, like Gary Payton, Karl Malone late in their careers, I don't see that. LeBron has talked about trying to do that his entire career. He's doing a little bit of that right now, but it's at the end of the day, it's still LeBron James. He needs to go be the quarterback for a team that has everything else in place. The problem is that those teams are hard to find. I also think he needs to go to the Eastern Conference, where it's a little bit more wide open and there's a better chance to win multiple playoff rounds. So I'm looking at the teams, and I know you're going to think I'm a homer because of this. But to me, the Miami Heat are the perfect spot for LeBron James. You've got Bam and you've got Eric Spoelstra. You've got the defense in place. That defense that the Lakers don't have, you're going to have that right now in Miami. They've slipped a little bit defensively, but they've been a top 5 defense and defensive rating for most of the season. I expect them to get closer to that than where they've been over the last couple of weeks. So you've got defense and you've got shooters with Tyler Hero, Norm Powell, Khalil Ware, who's shooting 41.5% on threes. Only Jokic and John Collins are centers who are shooting better on as many threes as Khalil Ware. You've got the floor spacing, and you've got the defense, and you've got the coaching. That's the formula around LeBron James. It always has been, and it still is now. What the Heat are missing is that quarterback. Who's the guy that we can give the ball to, who can create advantages for us, who's this elite level passer, who can make things easy for us on offense? You get LeBron James, you go back to running pick and roll, you become a LeBron James offense. It isn't working for the Lakers because the Lakers are a Luka Doncic offense. And they don't have the defense, and they don't have the shooters that LeBron needs. Frankly, they don't have the defense and the shooters that Luka needs either. That's why the Lakers are going nowhere fast. In Miami, you drop one of those kinds of players on that team, you've got the defense, you've got the coaching, you've got the shooters. And I don't think a trade would cost that much. You can go Terry Rozier's expiring, right? So that money just comes off the books right at the end of the year for the Lakers. You don't have to take on more money. You do Terry Rozier's expiring and Andrew Wiggins, who the Lakers have been rumored to be interested in anyway. So you get your guy in Wiggins. You move on from Rozier's expiring at the end of the season. And all you do is trade LeBron James, who you're probably going to try to walk away from anyway. You need one more small salary to make that work. It either goes to Miami or a third team, but that's easy to do. I'm not worried about that. So Rozier and Wiggins to the Lakers for LeBron James. That, to me, is the trade. The Lakers get Wiggins as their 3-and-D wing next to Luka Doncic. You re-sign him over the summer if he opts out. If he opts in, great. That's even like you figure this out next summer then. They've been interested in Wiggins this entire time. He makes sense. Those 3-and-D wings make sense next to Luka Doncic. Wiggins is a guy who could be the Derrick Jones Jr., but a better version of that when Luka made the finals in 2024 with the Mavericks, when they made that run. He just needs a guy who can guard opposing guards. Wiggins can do that. He was guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the other night. We've seen him do that plenty in Golden State and in Miami. And he hits open threes and he's productive. He's a great fit. He would solve a lot of problems for the Lakers and very, very willing to play that complementary role. And then for the Heat, they add LeBron James for a push in the Eastern Conference. Here would be the Heat's starting lineup. If you do Rozier and Wiggins to the Lakers for LeBron, the starting lineup would be Davion Mitchell, point of attack defender, Tyler Hero, Norm Powell, shooters, LeBron James, and sliding in for Wiggins at power forward, and then Bam as the backbone of your defense. The bench is Jaime Jaquez Jr., who's having a 6-man of the year type of season, Kel'el Ware, who could play well with LeBron, Pelle Larsson and Simone Fontecchio, who've been really good role players for them this season. Can't that team might not be the favorite in the East, but they can push anybody in the Eastern Conference. So if I'm LeBron James, I have a year and a half left probably of my career. Why waste it? Why waste this final half of the season with the Lakers, especially if they've given me the impression that they want to move on anyway? For LeBron James, who the narrative around him and the way he's perceived has mattered so much for him, get out ahead of it. Waive the no trade clause. Say, if you're done, I'm done. I'm moving on. I'm going to go to Miami where I can make one last push in the Eastern Conference while it's still open, and then make a decision about where I want to end my career this summer on my own terms. To me, it's a no-brainer. This has been RealGM Radio. Thanks for listening to the And One, my final take. If you want to catch the full episode, it's a good take. You could do that. It's up in your podcast feed, up on YouTube, me and Michael Shear. We get off some hot takes in that episode. You're not going to want to miss that. This has been RealGM Radio. We'll talk to you soon.